Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Miseducation of Everything Black. I am Chase the Truth. And of course, naturally, having another quick Kyle Rittenhouse. That is a name that is becoming ever so more and more popular. Kyle Rittenhouse. So, if you don't know, let's have a quick chat about Kyle Rittenhouse. I laugh because it seems that the tide has now changed. It seems that we are now taught that, let's say, gets in trouble or has a run in with the law, or we stand up for, or we, protest for, whatever the case may be. The first thing the pundits and the naysayers do is they bring up the criminal history or the arrest, the arrest history of that individual. So let's do the same thing when we want to make sure we keep that same energy for Mr. Rittenhouse here. So, Kyle Rittenhouse first is from Antioch, Illinois. He and his mother are gun lovers, and they basically wanted to help the anti protest, if you will. So, his mother, who's a nurse, uh, basically armed up along with Kyle and went to Kenosha, Wisconsin to help in the anti protest, if you will. You'll see in the stories you probably read on social media or in the news that they were there to protect businesses and help people who were injured. At least that's how the media is describing it, because once again, he is a person of no color. And so, as we know, with people of no color, the rules change. The rules are different. They don't apply to blacks. And that's part of the miseducation of everything black, is that we have been told for years, for centuries, that we truly are equal. But that's not the case. It hasn't been the case, and it's not the case here. This thug, he brought an illegal weapon. And the reason I say it's an illegal weapon is because of the fact that he brought it across state lines under the age of when you can even possess a weapon. He, of course, has the right to defend himself. His mother obviously has that right as well, which is why I don't have a problem with his mother being armed. But to give a rifle to a 17-year-old, especially in the current climate that is going on right now, I think that's completely irresponsible. As a parent and just as a person, there is no way that my mother, no matter how much I wanted to, be on the anti-protest or be on the protest side, at the age of 17, there is no way that my mother or my father would let me go out in the middle of the night, armed or not armed. There's just no way that's happening. Because my parents are responsible. They know that it would be dangerous. I mean, I don't know what this single mother was doing. And I will mention that she is a single mother, because obviously we want to make sure we keep that same energy with Mr. Rittenhouse here. He is from a single parent household. He dropped out of high school. That's right. He is a high school dropout. Now, if you read some of the stories, the reason he is in high school dropout is because he was bullied in high school. Let's get into that. And actually, what I want to do here is I want to actually take a look at the Washington Post. I want you guys to take a look at what. Now, the reason I want to bring up the Washington Post is because they are very 45 friendly. They are always, not the New York Times, but the New York Post is very 45 friendly. And they look to always, just push his agenda, defend him if needed be. And I want to read this story to you because I want you to see how people of no color view this incident. And more importantly, what this incident represents about the community as a whole, in terms of just not the black community or people of no color, but really America as a whole. So let's jump right into it for this quick chat. Once again, thank you guys. If you're joining me live, obviously thank you for that. But this was really on my mind, and obviously just had to have like I said, a quick chat here about this. So let's jump over real quickly to the New York Post, And let's take a look at that. Just 1 second here. So, this obviously is the New York Post. And once again, I wanted to read to you exactly what they state is kind of going on, or just their account of things. Once again, this is from the perspective of people of no color. So, Kyle Rittenhouse, the baby-faced teenage vigilante charged over the deadly Kenosha shootings, was a bullied high school dropout with two all-consuming fixations: cops and guns. Now, I love how they describe him as a baby-faced teenage vigilante. Um, I, you would never hear that said about Michael Brown or Tamir Rice or even Trayvon Martin. You would not hear that type of language used whatsoever. The 17-year-old accused killer dedicated his social media to his two obsessions. Right from the cover of his now deleted Facebook profile that had him posing with a high-powered rifle. Duty, honor, courage, Blue Lives Matter. Read a banner on his profile picture, a counter to the Black Lives Matter movement, to instead show solidarity with under fire cops. Choosing to show solidarity to the people who were killing us versus solidarity with the people who are being killed. There is obviously two sides to this. And it really depends on which side you're on, but you have the side where, hey, stop shooting us, stop shooting unarmed blacks, and then you have the side that says, we don't care because Blue Lives Matter. Kyle obviously was on the side that he just didn't care. And that's something, honestly, that needs to be discussed more. He did not care about black lives because he only cared either about all lives or blue lives, but black lives, no, that wasn't in his agenda. So from there, most of his Facebook profile was devoted to honoring law enforcement. In fact, with regular nods to the thin blue line flag, to the thin blue line flag, as well as tributes to officers killed in the line of duty in his home state of Illinois. His mom also posted photos of him clad in blue cadet uniform adorned with a badge, and the teen has participated in cadet programs with the Grays Lake Police Department. Now, it allows wannabes from 14 to 21 the opportunity to explore a career in law enforcement through ride-alongs with officers on patrol and firearm training, according to since-deleted pages on its website. The Grays Lake Police Department said it is cooperating with an investigation by the FBI and Kenosha Police into Rittenhouse. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a police officer. I even joined the military and became a MP, military police, in the Army. Now, I never did anything like this, but I can completely understand why they use the word wannabes there. Because truly, it's you want to be a police officer. You want to grow up and, obviously help people, whatever the case may be. But I don't feel that these programs are really building and really building a strong foundation of true police work. Because from my point of view, Kyle Rittenhouse went to one of these wannabe academies and now he just shot three people actually. So for his 16th birthday, he asked for donations for a nonprofit called Humanizing the Badge to forge stronger relationships between law enforcement officers and the communities they serve, which is completely bull. Because as we know, most police officers don't actually live in the communities, that they patrol. Which once again, that is truly part of the problem. But I'm going to get to another problem here later on in this article. This is probably going to be one that hopefully really opens your eyes. The teen's latest brush with police, however, came when he was arrested at 5 a.m. Wednesday at his home in Antioch, about 12 miles from Kenosha, across the state line, to be charged with first-degree intentional homicide after two people were shot dead and another injured late Tuesday. So I don't know if you guys have seen the video yet, but I do have, and I think a lot of people have a lot of questions on just kind of what happened. So here, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the video. So Kyle Rittenhouse is seen running into a parking lot. He basically shoots an unarmed man first in the head, okay? He pulls out his phone and he calls and says that I shot someone. Now, we don't know who he called, but I would assume he probably called his mother and said, hey, I just shot someone. Then you can see him running away. And once again, just assuming here that his mother probably told him that you probably need to get out of there. You just shot someone. Now, from there, Kyle Rittenhouse, who was originally there just to protect people, shot someone in the head. After he shot that person in the head, he didn't perform CPR or didn't perform any life-saving duties as a medic. He has a medic bag on him, and he says that he's there to provide safety and security and help people who are in need. So after the shooting the man in the head, you would think that he would perform some of his medic duties to a person who's obviously in need. Instead, he runs away. A mob then chases him, catches up to him, and then he starts spraying more bullets. From my point of view already, I feel that this man is a thug and we need to get him off the streets as soon as possible, because after he turns 18, I just think it's going to get a lot worse, especially if he's not taught a lesson now. This is how we curb racism. This is how we curb. Now, I don't want to say necessarily this is racism itself, because he shot, 3 people who were all of no color. So we can't necessarily say that his actions in those incidents were racism. What we can say is that the reason he was there is because he doesn't understand or identify with the plights that are going on in the black community, which is more of a broader, example of really the tension that is going on between the Black Lives Matter movement and, of course, the anti-protesters. So kind of going back to the article here, so he was busted for being the man allegedly caught on numerous viral videos running away from where one man was shot in the head, then gunning down 2 others after falling while being chased. Once again, we know why he was being chased. He just shot a man in the head. I don't think anyone, and by the way, not only was he shot a man in the head, but several people chased him who didn't have a gun. They chased a known criminal who had a gun unarmed. Unarmed citizens, Antifa, whatever you want to call them, unarmed people chased a man who was armed. So from there, Rittenhouse appeared to be in Kenosha with vigilante militia, supposedly protecting businesses being looted and raised in violent riots sparked by the police shooting of local 29-year-old Jacob Blake, which left him paralyzed. He may have been a part of a group that sought to be deputized to patrol the protest, officials have said. That right there scares the hell out of me. I'm glad that that didn't happen, but that truly, honestly, scares the hell out of me. To know that, one, it only takes 6 months for a person to become a police officer. It only takes 6 months for a person to be given a gun and a badge and then say, hey, go out there and have fun. That's it, just 6 months. You're talking about deputizing a bunch of wannabes who haven't even gone through 6 months of training. That is absolutely scary. Now, I hope that a lot of officials and officers and sheriffs have the presence of mind to say, hey, this is a horrible idea. We can't entrust duties of a police officer to someone who hasn't been trained for at least 6 months, even though 6 months itself is a joke. However, once again, it's just that thought right there, malicious, wanting to be deputized, just absolutely scares the heck out of me. So the rifle he was carrying also appears to be the same one he had fired for social media posts, including a now deleted TikTok. It was not immediately clear whose rifle it was or whether it was legally owned. Well, since the fact he's 17, I'm sure that it wasn't legally owned. At just 17, he could face a Class A misdemeanor that applies to anyone under 18 who goes armed with any deadly weapon. That right there is some promise. However, even that is not clear cut, with an exception for rifles and shotguns allowing people aged 16 and 17 to hunt. That could possibly apply. Well, he was hunting, but I don't think that's going to apply to him in this situation. A lawyer who specializes in gun rights cases told the paper the law in his home state, Illinois, requires anyone who owns any kind of firearm to have a firearm owner's identification card, the paper said, which could be available for someone with a sponsor who is 21 and eligible for a card. Rittenhouse lived with his mother, nurse's assistant Wendy Rittenhouse, in an apartment complex which was under police guard following his arrest. It's so interesting that when people of no color do something that the police or officials knows is going to piss off the community, they protect that person more than they protect the people that they shoot, which are usually blacks. I mean, it's the same thing with the George Foreman. They protected the police officer more than they protected George Floyd. If you go back to Michael Brown, that police officer was put under protection. Every police officer that goes and shoots an unarmed man is put under protection. Now, obviously, Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't a police officer. He was just a person of no color. But either way, the police were more concerned with his safety than they were concerned with Jacob Blake, who got shot in the back 7 times and now is paralyzed. These are the differences that we all see. These are the differences that are just so clear, cut, and dry. So, moving on, he had been working part-time as a lifeguard at a YMCA in suburban Lindenhurst until he was furloughed in March and then fired after his arrest. Which makes sense, because obviously no company, especially the YMCA, is going to want to have anything to do with this type of thug here. So he was working after dropping out of high school, after complaining about being bullied. This is what I find interesting. His mom had even gone to court seeking an order of protection in January of 2017, accusing one of Rittenhouse's classmates of bullying her son with taunts of being dumb and stupid, as well as threatening to hurt him. Despite expressing concern of her son's safety, the single mom ultimately dropped the request according to Lake County court records, and Kyle Rittenhouse dropped out of school. He dropped out of school after kids were bullying him for being dumb and stupid. And then his mom decided that it was a good idea to give him a gun and go protect other people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. This whole story is just, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I really wish that someone does a full expose on this, because nothing seems right about this story. Like, I can't. This is real life, of course, though. So the Tribune said she could not be reached for comment, of course, because she put her son in harm's way and had her son shoot 3 people. Before that, he had spent just a few months at Community High School, District 117. I don't know the details of his departure. District Superintendent Jim McKay told the paper he was with us for a short period of time. I'm not sure if he dropped out again or whatever the case may be. Rittenhouse also ran afoul of the last few weeks, getting a speeding ticket. Now they're really digging into his past. Getting a speeding ticket and a citation for driving without a license in Kenosha. Now this guy is just, he's just a criminal on all accounts. Lock him up and throw away the key just completely. As well as a police fan, he appeared to support President 45 and posted to social media images of his front row view at a 45 rally in Des Moines. I really try not to say that man's name. I feel it's kind of like Beetlejuice. If you say it 3 times, bad things will happen. We're not responsible for the private conduct of people at our rallies anymore. All the crazy people who have been involved with the Obama-Biden campaigns, 45 spokeswoman Kellyanne Conway told reporters. Now, obviously, even though Kyle Rittenhouse, you saw the image earlier, Kyle Rittenhouse was actually at one of 45's rallies. He was there. So obviously they're doing a lot to try to distance themselves away from this thug, but hopefully the voters don't fall for it. So Rittenhouse, it goes on to tell that Rittenhouse is being held at a Lake County juvenile detention facility pending a hearing on his potential extradition to Wisconsin. Once again, he's being held not at Rikers Island or some prison with adults. He's being held at a juvenile detention facility because that's where people of no color who commit crimes go. They go to the juvenile section. They don't actually go to the section where, obviously there's some danger in there like they do with the underage black kids. So I want to talk quickly about where Kyle Rittenhouse is from. He's from Antioch, Illinois. So let's take a quick look. I'm going to read you some things about Antioch, Illinois. So Antioch, Illinois has a population of roughly 14,000 Americans. All right? 14,000 Americans. Of those 14,000, guess how many are people of no color? I'll give you a second. Do you think it's more than 60? More than 70%? More than 80%? Antioch, Illinois is actually 88.79% filled with people of no color. Now, why is that important? Why is it important that we discuss that Antioch, Illinois is 88.79% people of no color? Well, here's the reason. The reason it's important that we discuss that is because in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Sacramento, California, Detroit, Chicago, anywhere where there is at least 10% of the population being black, people of no color who don't come from those areas don't know what those people are going through on a daily basis. They don't know the police brutality that is going on a daily basis in those cities. In Antioch, Illinois, the black or African American population there is 3%. Excuse me, 3.5%. 3.5%. That doesn't even sound right today. Like, I didn't know that there were places in America that had only 3% blacks. I figured, blacks were everywhere. But no, there are places where there's hardly any blacks. So how would this 17-year-old or his mother, who are both of no color, truly understand what the protesters were saying or what the protesters, what their cause was versus in their own community? They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know because there's no black people in Antioch, Illinois. How would they know which side to truly be on the side of because of the fact that they don't have any examples in their own community? I guarantee you, violence and crime or whatever the case may be in Antioch, Illinois with 14,000 people, I don't know what it is, but it's probably not very high. So with that said, when you have people who become radicalized in these small towns and then go to a bigger town or a town that is populated with more African Americans, stuff like this happens. Better yet, when you arm them at 17 years old, think about this. Think about if Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't caught. What if there was no cameras? What if he just shot two people and then got away? What would he be thinking moving forward? He would probably be thinking that, oh, you know what? What I did was right. This is the danger of not having diversity in a lot of our cities. This is the danger when people of no color don't understand the other side. Stuff like this happens. And it's going to continue to happen until we become more of a diverse nation. And that really starts at the top. Right now, at the top, I don't see a lot of diversity in this administration. The only person of color I can even think of, the only black person I can think of, is Ben Carson. And that's a stretch because we all know he's a coon. So that truly is a stretch. But at least with the Democratic Party, we see at the very top there's diversity. Regardless of what your feelings are on Biden or Harris, at least they are attempting to be diverse. But once again, it's a lot more than just politics. It needs to go out into, obviously, broader into the country and really take hold of our communities, because these people of no color who are in these small communities, they don't know any better. Well, anyways, guys, I wanted to get that off my chest. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me live here. I'm really going to work on trying to do more live episodes. But once again, the third and final installment of the Miseducation of Everything Black of the Indoctrination of Black History series will be out. And the next couple of days, really excited to share that with you guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and we'll see you guys next time on the